Okay, welcome traders. Welcome to Get That Trading Edge and today's webinar in the FAQ library series. I am Dean and I'll be conducting this webinar. Okay, so we had this question on order flow. Uh, Most of the softwares that we are using, especially the Bell TPO software, has horizontal comparison of buyers and sellers, and there is also a method where you can compare the buyers and sellers diagonally. Now there are some advantages and to comparing the buyers and sellers diagonally, and it is actually the correct way to do things. But let us see how the mechanics work so that you understand why we should be comparing diagonally, and if at all you are getting horizontal comparison charts, and how we can still use them to our advantage. Okay, so the first question is how diagonal order flow works, and here it is. For an order flow chart with only one tick as a TPO size, all of you must be knowing that we are using different sizes of TPO sizes. For Nifty, I am using 40, and for Bank Nifty, I am using 100. The original tick size for both these instruments is 0.05. So if you are using a chart or an instrument where one cell on an order flow chart is one tick, then at any given point in time, if a buy and sell order is getting executed, it will be printed in diagonal cells only. Now once we see the illustration, you will understand better, but the reason for that is there always be a one tick difference between the best bid and best ask price. That is the minimum difference that can be there. But in case of Nifty and Bank Nifty, there is occasionally more than one tick difference between the best buy and sell price. That the primary reason is liquidity, and secondarily the value of these indices are so high. Bank Nifty trading about 10,000, and still we have the tick size as 0.05. So that leads to that problem. Now let us see a chart. So here I have prepared one on Excel itself, and you can see what I am trying to say. Okay, so you guys are aware of that best 5 buy and sell, that snap quote window that you have on your broker terminal. It usually shows you buyers and sellers in two columns side by side. But if you place it properly, like I have done here, what you will see is that buyers will show below the current price and sellers will show above the current price. So if you arrange them in the proper manner, which is like this, what you will see is that this is the best bid price, that is the buyer is ready to buy at this price, and not above that. There are no buyers above this price, and the seller is ready to sell at this price, and they are not going to sell at any price below this level. So this is the best 5 buy and sell window arranged in a proper manner. Now if the market has to move lower, the sellers have to absorb all these orders. This is the price levels, and these are the quantities. On the left side are the quantities. Now I have purposely selected an example where the tick size, as you can make out in this particular figure, is 1. So you can move 1 point, that is the minimum movement that has to happen here. So this is how the best 5 buyers and sellers should be organized. Now let us see what happens if we get a buy or a sell order in the market. Okay, the same window is here, the prior chart, and see if a aggressive buy order comes, then he has to buy at 101 minimum, and there are 15 units or shares to sell at this price. So if an aggressive buyer comes in and buys all these 15 shares, he will show up here. The sales are at the same level. So on an order flow chart, that 15, once that order is executed, will show up on the buy side. And why is that? Because that was the aggressive buy order, right? The seller has put in a limit order at this level, the buyer came in and absorbed that 15 and it showed here. Also, if there is an aggressive seller who wants to sell immediately, then if he sells at market and he sells 10 units, then these 10 units will be absorbed from the best bid. So if an aggressive sell order of 10 shares comes into the market at the same time, the 10 will show up here. So as you can see here, the sell order, market sell order was executed at 100, whereas the market buy order was executed at 101. And what was this difference? The difference is the tick size. Now in our case, in this example, I have taken it as 1. And at any given point in time, the difference between the best buyer and the best seller will always be the tick size, in this case 1. So this gap which you are seeing here is because of this tick size of 1. And as you can see, at any given point in time, if the buyers and sellers are vying for control in the market, you can see that at a particular point in time, all the sell orders will be executed one tick below where the buy orders will be executed, and these are aggressive buyers and sellers. So let us just move on to the next chart and you will see the difference. So this is how it will always look, but this is going to happen only when you have the difference between the buyer and seller as one tick. So each box here is of 1 point, as we saw in our prior example. So because of that difference, because of that minimum difference of 1 tick, the buyer and seller has to be compared diagonally and not laterally. Because if say your best bid price moves up, so earlier it was here at 100, now it is at 101, and the best seller price will definitely be at 102. And if a transaction occurs here, any aggressive seller will be matched at this price and aggressive buyer will be matched at this price. Suppose an aggressive seller sells 5 units, you will get a 5 here. And if an aggressive buyer buys 10 units, you will get a 10 here. Again, at any given point in time, that one tick difference will always be there and it will cause the orders to be placed diagonally. And in those mature market like E-mini, S&P, you get that kind of order flow. The daily volatility is not much, and most of the orders, the liquidity is so good that they are placed only one tick apart. So if we want to have that kind of liquidity and order flow chart in Nifty, then we have to, the exchange has to increase the tick size for Nifty and Bank Nifty. All right, so I hope you have understood why, how the diagonal comparison and order flow works. Let us just look at the second part of the question, why it is better, or if at all it is required or not. Okay, so the only reason, as we saw, for the diagonal comparison is the essential and minimum one tick difference between the buyer and seller at any given point in time. But the primary purpose for an order flow chart is always to tell us where the aggressive buyers or sellers are coming in. So even if we do not have that one tick difference, or even if the charts we use, we do not use one sell of one tick, instead in case of Nifty, like I use one sell which is of 40 ticks, and that comes to around 2 rupees, and the calculation is simple. 0.05 is the tick size for Nifty, and if you multiply it by 40, the answer should come to 2. So that is the reason why I use 40, because I am comfortable with this 2-point cell size or TPO size. If you are not comfortable with 2, you can multiply this by 20 and then you will get a 1 here. If you multiply it by 80, you will get a 4 here. So it depends on what is your comfort level. There is no set rules for this. You can use whatever suits your style. All right. So what we want from an order flow chart is to tell us where the aggressive buyers and sellers are coming in. And because the indices are now trading at such high levels, we are happy, at least I am happy to get a broad picture of what is happening in any 2 rupee band on Nifty. That is the TPO size I am using. Okay, so that too small tick size is causing problems for us, but that is what we have to live with. We cannot do anything for that. All right, moving on. So the same example, now what I have done is, in the prior chart, we had plotted the order flow chart using one tick as one cell, but now we are converting it to a 5-tick chart, which is what I have displayed here. Now what that means is that unless and until the index moves by 5 points up or down, the all the executed buy and sell orders will be plotted like this. So 100 to 105, because the current market price is here, 100 to 105, any buyer comes, he has to absorb all this pending sale orders to move into the next box of 110. So if the same aggressive buyer who bought 15 shares in our prior example comes in and he buys, he will be displayed in this box only. But only 15 of the sellers were absorbed. So there are still so many sellers left. Almost 44 sellers are left to be absorbed. And unless and until buyers absorb all these 44 sellers, we will not be able to move into this cell. Similarly, if an aggressive seller comes, the same aggressive seller who sold at this price, sold 10 shares, he will be, shown in this box on an order flow chart. But unless and until the seller absorbs all these pending buy orders, they cannot move down into the 95 cell or 95 level. Why? Because we have set the tick size as 5. Now if say we come down, the price is trading at 97. All right, so these will be our best bid prices at 97, and the best ask price will come down and it will start from 98, right? Because the current market price which was here is now come down to 97. Now, if any of these sell orders were executed, I mean, these are pending sell orders, and if the buyers come in and hit it aggressively, we are still within this box of 95 to 100. So all this activity is going on in this particular single cell. So if the buyers come in and buy, say, both these buyers buy, say, 25 shares, so we will get an aggressive buyer of 25 on the right side, because buyers show up on the right side. So unless and until we move below 95 or go back above 100, any activity occurring here will be placed in these two cells only. And because of this, 5 tick, which encapsulates all these price levels, 5 of the price levels, we cannot, compare it diagonal. So unless and until our Nifty and Bank Nifty tick sizes increases, and then we get, the minimum difference is always 1 tick. In that case only, we will be able to plot the charts as we saw in the earlier example, earlier chart, the first chart which I shared. But till that time, this clubbing will keep on happening. So any sell order which is executed between 100 to 96 will come in this box only. And in the meanwhile, if any aggressive buy order is executed from 100 to 96, it will come in the on the right side on this level only. So it might be a bit complicated to get at first, but if you spend some time, look at this video, repeat it a couple of times, I think you will get it. So that is the reason why we have to settle for that horizontal comparison of orders. All right, so I think that is what I wanted to talk about on diagonal order flow. Now I think I need to answer some questions because I first have to ascertain whether whatever I have said I have been able to convey to you correctly. Okay, so questions if you have any. No questions? See, Sandeep, diagonal order flow, you cannot actually, understand it correctly unless and until, you have that each cell, so long as it is representing only one tick, then only you will be able to understand the diagonal order flow. But since, in our case, the difference between the best bid and best ask is always greater than, a few ticks. And that is why, you cannot understand that properly. But it does not change anything. I mean, this horizontal comparison also gives us the same understanding which a diagonal comparison will give. But the tick size is the problem. I'll just show you. So horizontal can represent horizontal order flow cannot represent the meaning of diagonal order flow. Yes, it actually includes it. If one would have had a single tick box, then he can you know spot that uh, exchange of orders in a correct manner. But if you are clubbing it like we do it on Nifty and Bank Nifty, in that case, whatever is happening between that cell size, which on Nifty is 2 and on Bank Nifty is 5 for me. So whatever exchange of orders is happening within that 2 rupee band are going to show up on the left and right side, but at the same level. But since our indices have such high volatility, I mean the range of the movement is so high compared to the tick size. uh, Even if you have horizontal comparison, it does not matter. It is actually for our benefit. If you just change the tick size to 0.05 on your order flow chart, if you are using one, then you will see what I am trying to say. You can just try it for experiment purposes right now, and you will see that the orders will get scattered all over the place, and it becomes really difficult to make any sense out of that particular chart. So Sandeep, if you have order flow chart, kindly change that TPO size which you may be using, say 40 for Nifty, to 1, and then see what happens. Till that time, if any more questions you guys have. No, Srinivas will cover it at other time. Tick replay does not change anything. Tick replay is there to display past historical data, like order flow data for yesterday, or say if you are logging in right now and you have to see data from morning. In that case, you require tick replay. I don't think it solves this problem which we are currently discussing. Yes, Francis, the bid ask need to be compared diagonally because there is always a difference of one tick between them. But if your chart, like say for Nifty, if you are using a 2 rupee cell size for order flow, the one box is representing 2 rupees. Then whatever trading is happening between them, then you cannot make out and make that diagonal comparison. And comparing a 2 rupee box, if you are able to see this chart, if you are comparing this particular 95 to 100 band to 100 and 105 band, I don't think it makes that much sense. If it had been a 5 rupee tick size, then this comparison, diagonal comparison, would be perfect. But since we do not have that, the tick size is 1 and you have all these different levels on which buyers and sellers are trading, and we are displaying it in this clubbed 5 rupee box. So in that case, one 5 rupee box cannot be compared with 5 rupee box on top of that. In that case, it is actually better if you compare it horizontally. I mean, that is my opinion. Anything else, guys? Based on this diagonal, or we cannot understand overall market context or sentiment. We can actually, but it would have been better if we had that tick size sorted out. So if you get a video of, say, E-mini S&P order flow chart, you can check it on Market Delta. You will find that you will understand what I am trying to say. But we get the broader picture, what exactly is happening and what levels we are getting aggressive buyers and sellers. I think that is sufficient. If you have the context from your other tools like market profile or traditional technical analysis, I think it still helps. Francis says, but when there is zero buyer and zero seller at the end or top of the bar, how does one look at it? Well, zero buyers and zero sellers means that either of the side was completely exhausted and there was nobody to do it at that. See, if you have, you'll see at the top of the order flow chart, you will see always the seller as zero, and when you are looking at the bottom, you will see always the buyer as zero. And the reason is that aggressive buyers are not coming in here, limit buyers are coming in, and here the limit sellers are coming in, and that is why it becomes zero. Many people consider it as a sign of completed auction, but I could not find a reliable way to use this information. The only thing I know is what it means, but I don't know how to use it in trading, if at all there is any use for that. One tick also showing some represent, yeah, because at every tick there may not be buyers and sellers on the both sides, but say like in this example, you move higher. Let me go back to the earlier chart. Okay, this one. Okay, Sandeep, so see what is happening here. We got that aggressive seller selling at 10, aggressive buyer buying at 15, but then market moved higher, and then again it came back down to this level, and when it was down in this level, again some buyer bought here, say 5 contracts. So even if the tick size is 1, when the prices moves up and down through that tick size, it is possible to get buyers and sellers at the same tick size even on a one tick chart. So a one tick chart will give you horizontal comparison. Any order flow chart will give you horizontal comparison, but the diagonal comparison you need to, you can plot it. You can still compare 5, tick box, one below and one above. You can do that diagonal comparison, but it won't make that much sense. So if it is a one tick chart, the diagonal comparison makes more sense. But if it is a club chart like say 40 ticks or 100 ticks, then I think the horizontal is better. But I think, Sandeep, you can see that the chart is not very good. There will be many zeros there in between the a single bar. Yes, so that is the problem. That is not the correct way to look at it. Had Nifty, been trading at a one tick size, then definitely we can use that diagonal comparison. It would be better. Okay, guys, any more questions based on this bid ask? We cannot find at what level lowest price seller like today. No, I did not understand your question, Vicky. Stocks order flow charts are a mess because of lack of liquidity. Yeah, you can say that, but even it's all the matter of tick size. If you have a 1 rupee tick size on Nifty, then you would get that idea better by comparing it diagonally. But in current scenario, if you start comparing diagonally, I don't think it makes that much of a sense. But it will definitely help us, spot that because then you get the real representation of what is happening on that snap quote window, and that is directly transferred to your order flow chart, and then definitely it helps. Vicky, you can share the chart for this Bajaj Finance query on the Slack. I'll get back to you on that. Yeah. Okay. Any more questions? Even if you find some later, you can share them on Slack and I'll try to answer. Okay, guys. So I think there are no more questions now. Great, Vicky. Great. You can ask your questions regarding the course directly in the comments below the lessons or on Slack. Yeah, thanks, Srinivas. Srinivas, you can send your absorption reaccumulation query on Slack. I'll get back to you on that. We will have to give time to market profile. It definitely is not something similar to let's say RSI, where you spot a divergence and you are asked to buy. Market profile is not like that, so I think you will have to give it some time. It's more about unlearning what you have learned so far and then learning this new thing. So it takes a bit of a time, but once you get a hang of it, it becomes very good. How long? How long for that, Srinivas? I did not get what you are saying. How long to learn MP? Yeah, you'll get it. Don't worry. I mean, if we keep interacting on Slack the way we are doing, if I compare it to my old days of learning, I think you guys will learn it in much shorter time than what I took for it. So don't worry, just stay at it, and I'm pretty confident that you guys are doing a fantastic job, and the shares, the charts you share, and the questions you ask are much better than what I was doing. Yes, Francis, practicing is the key. All right, guys. I think I'll have to stop because I don't know how much time is left in this webinar. It has a 45-minute limit, I guess. Yeah, I think there is only 10 minutes are remaining. So you will get Yogananda. There is not a problem. You will get that. It comes with some practice and experience, but it's yours forever, Vicky. You can do it as many times as you can. I cannot say how many times you have to do it, but the better idea is to always keep that course on while you are trading. And if you feel that you are seeing, say, absorption on the chart, or if I put in a comment saying that absorption is seen on the chart, you can immediately go to that chapter and then try to see and mix and then try to match that with what is happening in the current market, and I think you will get a better idea in that way. Okay, guys, thank you very much. I think we'll again come back with I think single prints is the next topic, so in a couple of days I'll start that, work on that, and we'll take that webinar next time. Okay, thank you, guys. I think I'll have to stop it now, because otherwise also it will get stopped automatically. Yeah, nice weekend to you guys. Enjoy. We'll meet on Monday now. Have a great weekend. Take care. Good night.